What's up, guys? Freddy here. Video number 5. In fact, this is the fifth video. Yep, the fifth video, and probably one of the final videos until I return from Boston. And if you're seeing in your screens correctly, you are not drunk. I have a bottle of Jose Cuervo with me. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Oh, God, he's drinking again, or he's going to get drunk, and he's probably drunk while he's making this video. False. I just keep this because it's cold, and I'm hot. And I'm coming from a new venue. This is my dining room. The word inspiration gets thrown around a lot. People on Facebook, my friends, oh my God, you're an inspiration. Why? Because you saw me lifting a dumbbell? Because you saw a fat ass finally get back in shape, or try to get back in shape for that matter? Yes, I called myself a fat ass, and I am not demeaning myself. I am simply saying what other people want to tell me, but refuse to tell me because they think they're going to hurt my feelings. I've built up a very unique set of feelings where instead of crying over what you tell me, I pretty much hate you, and I'm gonna send you a hateful Christmas card in the mail. So look out for that. That last remark was also directed toward my sister-in-law in Houston, but she's a good person. Hopefully, I'll get to see her face or whatever she smiles with in July. Man, inspiration. I am not one. I am simply just a guy trying to get back to putting his life back together. Coming out of a rough funk the last couple of years, I'm just now starting to see the sun in a bigger and brighter way. And I've met people that are true inspirations. Single mothers of 2 or 3 kids that are going to school, amputees and athletes and ordinary people that have had traumatic life injuries, and of course, our brave men and women serving abroad. Those are the inspirations. For many years, I guess you can say, I've clung on to the moment of the underdog, where I make myself the underdog in situations where I'm technically the favorite. But for that matter, I go back to a true underdog story of 2012. I was in rehab, and I met a girl uh, whose name I guess I will mention because she will be tagged in this video. Um, Her name was Katie. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what the name of the disease is. I don't know what happens. I'm not, thankfully, I guess you can say I'm blessed to have never been a part of that scenario where one day you're completely normal, and then the next day your body just completely shuts down and you're in a rehab center fighting for your life. I don't know that feeling. I never have, and hopefully I never will. Um, we were friends for a good 2 3 years, and then I guess the unfortunate happened where we grew apart and we have not spoken to each other since. Hopefully, in the year 2015, that changes. Sweet, my download is done. Um, for many years, for the times that we did talk, um, I grew an admiration for her. Like, she always thought that I liked her, that I was into her, like BF, GF. She was 15 and I was like 22, 23 at the time, so there was no way in hell that was gonna happen. Whatever I had for her was just like complete admiration and respect. I look at her Facebook now, and she definitely is not the same girl that she was some 2, 3 years ago. She's now back to living the normal life of a human being. Like, she's not struggling anymore. I remember times when I would go visit her and in the hospital, and she was, fighting. Like, she inspired me. You know, that, ladies and gentlemen, right there is inspiration. Literally starting all the way from the ground up and coming back up. Katie, if you ever watch this video, I just want to say, if I haven't already told you over the last 2 or 3 years, that you are a hero to a lot of people, and not that you ever needed it, not that you want it, but you've earned my respect. You've earned it. I give it to you, and I clap for you. That's yours. Um, so how does that apply to me? I guess you can say that the one thing that I do is that over the last couple of years, I've decided to stick to the things that I do. I take things a lot more seriously now, whether it's a relationship or something that I decide to do. People thought that the comedy thing was gonna die after 3 months, and that, because I did one bad set, I was never gonna do a bad set again. I've had a string of bad sets, and they've run consecutively. But as taught by fellow comics, you have to punch your way out of a joke, and that's what I've done. And here I am, almost 2 years later. You know, but that was because I decided to do it, because I had, if anybody watches, if anybody's ever seen, I'm sorry, Rocky Balboa, the sixth Rocky movie, Paulie, his brother-in-law, talks about stuff in the basement, like stuff in your heart or stuff that you couldn't do that you left undone. I just went back and I found the stuff in the basement. I found some old skeletons. I decided to unlock them and bring them out. And as a comic, sometimes you're afraid to tackle personal issues, but not me. Like, not anymore. You know, um, whatever personal issue I tackle because to me it's funny. And if it's at the expense of somebody else, then that, to me, that's funnier. um, the inspiration thing shouldn't apply to me because I'm just pardon me for saying it this way, but I'm an ass. I'm your average asshole trying to start again. You don't need to glorify your average douchebag for trying to make the right choices in his life. Finally, um, going to rehab last year, that was my decision. Comedy, my decision again, and even my decision to get fit, my decision. It's not because somebody called me lazy. It's not because somebody said you need to do it. It's because, like, it was just one day where I just finally fucking woke up and I said, it's time to do it again. Like, it's time to change your ways. And that I did, and I'm very happy that I'm sticking to it. My personal trainer calls me an inspiration. His friends on Facebook call me an inspiration. And long, if you're watching this, I am not horribly drunk, and tequila is a healthy liquor that does not promote any sort of addiction. When mixed with Hawaiian Punch, it makes a damn good drink. Oops. So, inspiration, again, comes from actually doing something with your life, not waiting 5 or 10 years to do it again. You know, and as to say, like, there are people that I have talked to. I guess we're switching topics now. I've never done that for a particular video. Um, People, because I had a girl tell me, like, "Oh my God, you're an inspiration. Like, how come you're single? Why aren't you in a relationship? Why aren't you in a happy relationship with somebody?" Relationships are a soggy issue for me. I don't like to talk about past relationships much. Um, Not because I'm still horribly jealous, but because they still bother me. Like, some of them, sometimes they still bother me. But, you know, talking to my dad, talking to people like my dad or my brother, I get over them. There's my father has a famous saying that I've put on Facebook. It says, "Heartbreak is like a rub-on tattoo. Um, it's temporary. You should never be mad at the person, and you should never be downing yourself. The only thing you should be mad at is the excuses. Be mad at the excuses that got you to this point. Because in my belief, I think every girl is perfect. I don't give a fuck what flaws or baggage or whatever you call it. I don't give a fuck what you have. Whatever you have, obviously you're gonna decide to keep locked up in your past. But don't sit there and let all of that kill you and cheat you out of finding true happiness at the end of the day. If you know, because I'm a guy, and I'll be the first to admit that guys are assholes. Being the fourth of 23 kids, I had a my father was a man whore, and I'm not afraid to say that. My brother Brian, who also has a channel on here, White Cognac Habla, you might want to check him out. He gives some really, really inspirational and kick-ass tips in life, and they really help. He's helped me throughout some of my most difficult moments. But anyway, like I don't think that every girl is too damaged to truly be happy. I don't think that every girl, no matter how bad the past relationship she was in, should make a guy pay for the sins of his ex, of their ex. And same thing goes with guys. Guys don't make girls pay for the sins of your ex, and girls don't make guys pay for the sins of your ex. Because who knows, that person might just be 1,000 times better than your ex. And hats off, personally, hats off to all the girls that found true love and happiness uh, after me. If you dated me and now you can say you're truly happy, congratulations. If you're a girl who's ever talked to me and found true love, even though you never thought we would be a dating material, congratulations. But for those of you who are sitting there wondering, like, oh, I'm too damaged, or oh, God, will I ever find love, or God, what can I do to be perfect? Fuck you and fuck your standard. You're just fine. You're just fine. If a guy in a wheelchair can be close to getting married, and after all the shit that he's been through, then then what's your excuse? Yeah, 3 years ago I was on the verge of rolling down the aisle. Ha 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 ha. I'm waiting for a joke. 3 years ago I was on the verge of rolling down the aisle. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Then I get a phone call from my sister in Houston. She says, "You know what you're doing is wrong. I'm not saying you're turning your back on your family, but you know damn well at 22, 21, you're not ready to get married." And that's exactly it. I wasn't. Talked myself out of the wedding, broke up with her, and now she's got 2 kids traveling around the country as a singer. Congrats. But me, I turned out okay. Comic, fat ass, successful Special Olympian. Well, I don't think it's impossible not to be successful. And just everything in between. So to the guys and the girls, that say, "Oh, I'm too damaged and no girl's ever gonna love me." Fuck that. It's not true. If I can come close to getting married, which is the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the day, then people can find love. Um, to one person in particular, she's a very good friend of mine. Her name is Gabriela Carpez. Hopefully, I'll have her on my next video as an interview. She had one of the not the most difficult upbringings, but she had one of the most difficult fights in life. Coming back from a traumatic event that I'm not going to name out of respect for her until she comes on a video and says what it is. Uh, I got to go drink with her one night, and man, I gotta be honest with you, I have never been so captivated, so inspired, and so drawn in to a person's life story as I did when talking to her. And I know what you're thinking. Oh God, he's talking about another girl that's out of his league that has a boyfriend and she's completely too good for him. You're probably right. And for that, oh, the closer you get to the bottom, the stronger it is. All right. You're right. I may never, ever, ever, ever have a chance with this girl, but, but, she is a true million to one odds success story. She is defiant, and she's been able to inspire people, not just by how she looks, not just by what she, by the photos that she puts on Facebook, which by the way are awesome. Um, but just by the way that she manages to talk people off the ledge. And I'm not talking about suicide. I'm talking about like she manages to take her own personal experience, apply that to the person she's trying to cheer up, and that person has a change of heart and decides to do something with his life. That's happened before. And how somebody can royally screw her over to the point where this woman is single is bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know me, and you all know that A, I don't have a filter on my mouth, and B, I'll do anything to score a date that is not demeaning and will not cause my permanent damage or death. There are only three people, I'm sorry, three girls in my entire life that I can honestly say I would give my right arm for. And those, and one of those is Gabriella. The other two, again, will remain nameless until a later date. Um, I would crawl on broken glass to be to want to be considered good enough for a girl like Gabriella. Not because of her physical looks, but just because of who she is. She is, without a doubt, one of the most inspiring people I have ever met in my entire life. She takes nothing for granted, and she tries to live in a world that is perfectly imperfect, and she makes the best of it. I'm telling you, I only got to spend a couple hours with her one night, but man, oh man, it was life changing. And I'm not saying that to score a date. I'm not saying that for the awes and how adorable and hopefully you get. No. I say that because not a lot of people, because of my pride, my ego, not a lot of people can earn my respect. But Gabriella definitely has my respect. I don't think I've ever met somebody with such beauty and grace just on the inside that completely makes the outside irrelevant. You know, there's a certain je ne sais quoi uh, about her that is completely undefinable. You will not find a definition for the brand of woman that she is. But I'm digressing. But there you go. That's an example of an inspiration, ladies and gentlemen. One final story of inspiration that I'll put out there is a close friend of mine by the name of Chris Houston, who is on my Facebook and will be tagged in this video. This is a guy that had a horrific car accident. Um, had to spend months and months in the hospital and had to, again, rebuild his life from the ground up. Being in a wheelchair. He thought, like I used to think, oh, no girl's ever going to love me. I'm just a useless cat in a wheelchair. Life sucks. So why don't I just go drown my misery in weed? When I got to meet this guy, I saw a lot of myself. A hard worker in the gym, but a self-doubter on the inside. Don't get me wrong, I still have those moments, but I learned. I want to take this time to strictly address to Chris that every error you make in life is not a mistake made for people to hate you and disown you. Every mistake made in life is an opportunity to do better. Good, bad, or indifferent. You think the guys that made Reese's were, didn't make a few mistakes, or the guy that made Coca-Cola didn't make a few mistakes? That didn't stop them from trying. You know, the Red Sox. I'll give him an example. He's a Nationals fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. The Red Sox having horrible finishes 2 years in a row after winning the World Series in '07, and then after winning the World Series 2 years ago, having a horrible year last year. You know, coming back and they're learning. But my friend, that's all that life is. Life is one giant learning experience. For all the times that you've sat there and you've done what you've done, and you think that people hate you for it or that your family hates you for it, no, they don't. They don't hate you, they hate your habit. Again, let me repeat that one more time. They don't hate you, they hate your habit. Your mother, your father, your sister, they all still love and admire you for the long way that you have managed to come. From doubting that you'll be at your senior prom to successfully finishing your first year of college. Congratulations. From thinking that you're a piece of crap all the way to becoming one of my closest and most respected friends. Thank you. I am not your brother because I give you life lectures on Facebook because I see the stupid stuff that you post. I'm a friend of yours because I saw a lot of you in me. I saw a lot of me in you. Don't die after one mistake. Live. And live longer, live better, and live harder than you've ever lived before. Because we've all drawn inspiration from something and someone. And that's what makes us better in the end. See you later, guys.